understanding orders. Before we start the debate on the notices of motion before us, I ask members to be succinct with their comments and to avoid repeating those points already made, so that those members who wish to speak have every opportunity to do so. 3 notices of motion have been submitted for consideration by Council. Following consultation with the Assistant Director Governance, I have also accepted a 4th motion on the basis that it relates to a critical local situation. The first notice of motion on the agenda, support for City of Culture bid, has been submitted by Councillor Nenadich, seconded by Councillor Sinclair Knight. So I call upon Councillor Nenadich to address us.
Chairman, I seek support on this motion. Hereford is to bid for the City of Culture in 2021. We are indeed a small county, but we can make a big noise. The launch was held in the courtyard in October, with over 200 people attending. The courtyard and its partners will lead on this bid. The bid is to be made to the DCMS in 2017, and success will be dependent on demonstrating wealth creation and the potential for wealth creation for the county from increased cultural activity. The intention is to develop sustainable cultural events across the county in the lead up to 2021, which will be a major cultural year in the county, irrespective of the bid's success. At the courtyard, we have Ian Archer, who is the current CEO. Very, very interestingly, and perhaps just by pure fate, he led the successful bids for Liverpool in 2008, and then for Hull for their successful bid in 2017. And what he has openly stated, very simply, success was down to massive support from the local community. Hereford's unique selling point will be a county-wide approach with 365 planned events during the year. Yes, in Liverpool and Hull, they said it could not be done, but it was about changing minds and perceptions. Here are just a few quick facts. Who and what have we got? Here are a few people and a few places, I think, that speak volumes of our cultural heritage and history. And this list is not comprehensive. I scribbled these down this morning at breakfast because they're the places that I just know about. Arthur's Stone, the Rotherwas Ribbon, the Roman Mosaic at Kenchester, input from both the Blackfriars and Greyfriars. Nicholas de Hereford was the first person to translate the Bible, a man of Hereford. We have the Mappa Mundi. We could have been Oxford University. It was a toss-up between Hereford in the Middle Ages and Oxford, where that seat of learning was based. At Ledbury, we have the Master's House, the Market Hall, we have the Poetry Festival. In Leominster, we have the new Grange building. We've produced Sarah Siddons, Nell Gwynn, David Garrett, John Masefield, Kilvert. We're hosting this year, I believe, the Three Choirs Festival, and one of the most famous British composer, Edward Elgar, spent a lot of time in Hereford. Latterly, we've had Dennis Potter, and on it goes. So, we might be small, but we are capable of producing people. Right, what would the benefits be? Londonderry, which was the City of Culture, and Londonderry is not too dislike Hereford in many ways. It created 39 new businesses. 120 million of capital investment went into the city for its bid, and those were the outcomes. Benefits were a lasting legacy, and the city went from strength to strength. Liverpool, slightly more ambitious, was the European City of Culture, and Liverpool boasts of 9.7 million visitors in that year, an increase of 34%. 758.8 million generated for the local economy, and very, very tellingly, because part of this is about health and well-being, 86% of the residents of Liverpool reported it was a better place to live. There were 10% rises in the audiences. Chairman, This will be a county-wide bid, the first of its kind. We have culture in every nook and cranny in this county. This can be a single thing that unites us. I've often remarked that generally Herefordians cannot agree what day of the week it is. But that change can happen if we all see the bigger picture. If we do not create a wave, this will fail. Every person in this county needs to own the bid. I ask Council and its members to spread the word, to encourage their communities to come together and make this happen. Because if we truly believe that this county can be a county of culture, I can see no reason why our bid could not succeed. I ask Council to own this motion and like the touch papers in all the corners of this county. Thank you, Chair.
These organisations don't just lack credibility, but they lack the means to acquire the other kind of investment that they need. And I emphasise the word investment because the return to the local economy from all these arts organisations and cultural services in our county is massive. The gearing can be anything between 25 and 40 pounds return to the local economy on every pound invested. So I don't want to hear any more about grants and subsidies. This is a genuine investment. If we want to look for a good example of a council that's taking a lead on this, we need to look no further than Birmingham City Council, who, as we all know, are in more difficulties financially and in other respects even than this authority is. They have increased their awards, their investment to their cultural services sector in recognition of the value that those services give, not just to the local economy, but, as Councillor Nenadic mentioned, to health and well-being of local residents. This is an absolutely critical moment in the financial cycle of these organisations in our authority, and I entirely support the notice of motion, but I would just remind members that we need to translate that support from words into deeds. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was always very pleased that we got this kicked off. It's only for a week in the year, or just over a week in the year, but there you have the wonderful combination of individual entrepreneurs, their own individual sites, and then you can go across and your background is Herefordshire countryside at the same time. It's a really first-class thing that we should have made far more of, I think, and a real marketing exercise for Herefordshire. So I think this is also an opportunity for Herefordians to start realising what they actually have and be proud of it themselves. And I very much hope that we win the bid, but even if we don't win, that we all become far more aware and respectful of the culture that we have had underneath our noses for generations.
Thank you, Councillor Phillips. Councillor Lloyd Hayes.
Thank you, Chairman. Clearly I support this and I'm very, very happy to improve it, frankly. I think we need to make this much stronger. Could I suggest as an amendment that we actually say this council resolves to support a bid by the Courtyard Theatre and its partners for Hereford to be made a city of culture? I think that would be far more positive and very much more clear to people as to what we're doing. The very fact that we're saying this council, it means the whole of the county, and that's something we all support here.
I believe that members of all political persuasions are of the opinion that in the present setup there is far too much power in the hands of a few, which we believe has resulted in many costly mistakes being taken that cost this council dearly. A small cross-party group working with individual cabinet members and meeting in public whenever possible is the right approach and would have the support of the public. It would also deliver more democratic decisions and also substantial improvements. I'm not talking here about day-to-day issues, but rather complex and costly projects. All elected members, as Councillor James says, takes the flak and abuse when things go wrong, because the public are unaware of how little involvement and say we backbenchers have in this decision-making. there are far too many meetings, as Councillor James again said, held behind closed doors. And there simply has to be a better way of dealing with our council business. And that, in my opinion, is what the public are demanding. We feel totally sidelined, and not only us, because backbenchers on the executive side as well. A lot of them feel exactly as we do, and therefore I second this motion. And all we're really asking for is a small group to meet with Mr. Norman, 2-3 sharp meetings, to see if we can find at least the suggestion of some improved alternatives.
Thank you, Councillor Matthews. Number of speakers, Stephen.
Thank you, Chairman. There are a couple of issues here that I have to address. I don't have evidence of this. This first part is an opinion. The probability is that I get as many letters, emails, telephone calls from the public as anybody else in this room. I can't vouch for that, but that's my guess, and I don't think many people would argue. I get lots and lots of complaints, letters, etc. about decisions that are taken. I have yet to get one letter complaining about the process by which those decisions were made. The complaints are about the decisions, not the process. When it comes to, and this really does, I find quite annoying, this business about the great public want this. I took it upon myself because at the last meeting, Councillor James, in an expansive gesture, talked about out there, all these people don't like the cabinet system. So I took it upon myself on 2 occasions in my own village, and one in Hightown in Hereford, just to wander about and ask people what they thought about the system by which this council is managed. Most people didn't know, and very few even cared. What they care about is the decisions that are made. That's what the problem is. And when I hear this business about accountability, having checked up, Councillor Morgan got some numbers for me, we can find just 5 items where the public were excluded from a debate on the basis of commercial sensitivity on an issue, which is perfectly normal, standard procedure in any authority. All others, everything coming up, shows up on our rolling programme, long before we actually get to decisions. The decisions are announced, published on a rolling programme. So people know, all councillors who take the trouble to read, know what goes on. And if Councillor James were to attend 1 or 2 more of the group leaders' meetings, he might find that some of the things he doesn't hear about are actually disclosed at group leaders' meetings. The next thing that bothers me is this business about there are people out there, some of these people are angry. We've got members that are angry. And I make no apologies here for paraphrasing. I want to know just where this anger is, because as far as I can see, there is no anger like a frustrated politician posing as a moral principle. That's what we're getting here. What Councillor James doesn't like is that he's not involved in the decision-making process or the what he might call the power centre. Nothing is, there are no decisions taken behind closed doors. You show me decisions and say, it does not happen. Within the last week, a number of items have come across this council's desk, involving myself, Councillor Phillips, Councillor Morgan, etc., where to use a committee system of whatever type you try to describe simply would not work. We don't live in the world that Mr. James occupied and successfully managed as leader in 1997 and 1998. It's moved on quite a pace since then. So the notion that you could somehow get committees to deal with today's problems, have all members involved in all decisions, and I appreciate that is not what Councillor Matthews is talking about, but it is what Councillor James was talking about. So first of all, let me summarise. You line up for me the people, the those out there who don't like the present system, because I can't find them either in the centre of Hereford, admittedly a very short walk round, and 2 occasions in my own village. I can't find them. What people don't like is that the decisions we've had to make because of the circumstances under which we currently operate with drastically reduced resources. There is no doubt that's a problem. But this secretive business is pure nonsense. This is political. We are absolutely happy. We said at a previous group leaders meeting, we agreed with no problem at all. We're not arguing. Let us get together. Let us look at some other ways of, let us look at alternative ways of managing this council. I've had several conversations with Councillor Matthews, and he's been making it abundantly clear that he's not looking for some major earthquake shift, but to get more members involved, and it's right and proper that we should meet, and we will meet in a cross-party group to establish just that. But let us be quite clear what exactly is the problem that we are trying to resolve. I put it to you, ladies and gentlemen, the problem is not anger out there, it is frustration in here. Now, I'm quite happy to deal with that, but let's not pretend that one thing is the other. What we're dealing with is people who wish they were in power and are not, and who seek methods to change the present system for nothing better than perhaps a dislike of the current administration. I agree with the approach made to me by Councillor Matthews. Let us get together, let us talk about alternative ways. We are very happy to do so, and I look forward to doing so. But let us do it on a basis of honesty, and not all this supposed anger that exists out there. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Liam. Councillor Hubbard.
Thank you, Chairman. 3 years ago, just after the last local elections, Councillor Harvey and I attended a very enlightening seminar in Birmingham, run by Birmingham University. The seminar was about alternative governance structures for local authority. I just wish you'd all catch up. I really do. You know, they say Herefordshire is a bit backward, and I think this is a great display of us being backward. 3 years ago, they were already examining alternative structures. They are already in place in other authorities, and they are already extremely successful. When you look at the development of an organisation, once it's gone through the committee system, and then it gets turned into a cabinet system, and everybody revolts because there's so few people making decisions, and actually you're elected to be part of that decision-making process, and when you get elected you realise actually it's got nothing to do with you, the decisions that are made, unless you've got a mate on the cabinet. You are completely excluded from the decision-making process on this council with its governance structure. I'd like to remind the leader, I spent over a month on the doorstep in a rural ward, which by the by we won, and the people on the doorstep completely got what we were talking about in terms of the cabinet system. We were talking about that over a year ago, talking about how you change the decision-making process so that 5 people don't run the county. Actually, the 58 of us who are elected to run the county are actually given a chance to influence and change decisions. So please, everybody, catch up. This is a very good motion. It doesn't set anything in stone. It actually, I know it's going to read the group leaders, it's going to happen anyway, so this is about actually informing council, because council is elected to run the county. And national parties who decide how the governance structure of both central government and local government work, it's not in their interests to mess with it. But actually, the people I met on the doorstep really got it, really got it. So your couple of times in the village and a quick walk around Howtown does not show you the discussions we've had with people who actually understand. You've got a whole group of councillors who feel excluded, and they are elected to do a job. I think you can have a very interesting governance structure that is far more effective than 5 people running the council, 5 people taking all the decisions. I think you can in the development of an organisation, once it's gone through the various processes, you can get those speed of decision making and you can get the inclusion you just haven't tried.